Hello, everyone. This part of your workout is to build brain muscle. So think creative. Connecting the creative and the analytical part of your brain is a very rewarding task that can increase the outreach of your project. So let us dive into this and see how. You might have many stories about your project. The question is, how do you tell those stories? How do you make them relevant to each audience? Do you tell the same story to your grandmother, to your child, to your business partner, or to a peer? Probably not. And even if you tell the same story, the tone that you will use and the way you will package your message will probably be different. So you tell stories. So the idea is to tell stories that talk to your audiences. Because today, in today's world, we're living in a world where constantly sending messages in bottles in the ocean. So there are millions of messages out there, and we're becoming more and more selective. So the trick here is, how do you have your message picked up among millions of messages out there? And because the idea of what you want to do is to have them picked up and then to connect with the audiences that you want to reach. So how do you do that? How could you do this? And one way is to focus. And when I say, yes, it's focus. It's by limiting your resources. So first, we need to see who do we want to talk to. And for this, we have to think strategically. We cannot target all the citizens in the EU, so we need to make choices. We need to target who do we want to talk to. In order to be able to engage with them and to connect with them and create conversations. And a way to do this is to map the influencers, to map your stakeholders. And basically, you can, if you have data about who do you want to talk to, you will ideally create those circles of influence, and you can make them like bigger bubbles, smaller bubbles, work with colors, and also strengthen the links when they are networking and where they're talking to each other, so that you can also realize the strength of the influence on those relationships. And once you have this, once you can know where your audiences are and how can you target them, this is when you start packaging your content. This is when you decide which are the tactics and the tools that are going to bring you more value or bring you a greater return in any activity that you're doing. So here you're very free to create your own mix. You can do press and media, you can use social media, you can write newsletters and send them to your audience, create your website, organize events, work with multipliers, which are these audiences that have a greater public, if you want, and then they can help you spread out your message. So it would be better if, for example, if you have a project story, that you send it to us as well, so that we can act as multipliers and help you increase the outreach of your project. And this is why thinking strategically about this is important, because then you're focusing your resources and the time and the money you're spending on communication in a smarter way. Then you can also, of course, work, participate in blogs or with bloggers, and you can use audiovisual products. And for this, I think it's important to remember that we are visual beings. And since we were born, before we learned to speak and to read, we were observing our environment and we were connecting these images with sounds. And this is how our brain learned to make sense to what's happening around us. And this is what we call the picture superiority effect, which explains why infographics, videos, animations, cartoons, and design have a greater impact on communications. So you can reach your audiences easier and get your message across, increasing the impact of what you want to deliver. So just one last thing, remember that you're free to choose the way you package your message. The most important thing is that your package reaches its destination. So good luck.